I'm Fred Graham, and over the next 2 hours, we're going to look at both sides of NFL star Ray Lewis's murder trial. We're going to do that with the help of two guests who have sharply different perspectives on this case. On my right is Michael Sepe. He is an assistant district attorney from Long Island, where he's responsible for the investigation, indictment, and prosecution of general felony offenses such as assault and robbery. He tried to answer that, Mike, but I thought it was, you got a jury that has 10 African Americans and 2 whites. To me, it was an embarrassment.
I think you're right, Fred. It was absolutely an abysmal performance. To take the comment even further, I think the quote was, all African Americans have nicknames, so therefore you must be able to tell me who is who here. Yeah. And when he asked to explain it, he made it even worse by essentially saying that, yeah, he did in fact say that in that context, and his excuses were as lame as his original answer.
Yeah, I want to get to you about this, Howard, in a minute, but first, there apparently is a discussion there. Denied. Mike Sepe, you're a prosecutor there. What's your take as to whether or not it's uncomfortable, it's embarrassing, it should never have happened, but does it affect the case?
Whether or not it has anything to do with the facts of the 2 men who were killed, it does affect the case in the sense that Mark Fuhrman is still in people's recent memory. It's a distraction the prosecution desperately does not need right now in light of how the rest of their case is going, and it's a needless distraction that should have and could have been avoided by apparently some better police procedures and some better preparation on everyone's part.
Well, I don't know if it's preparation. Let's listen. I think they may have, Mike, that they didn't ask her at all about what he told her.
I think you'd probably have to assume that there was some discussion with the doctor before she testified, but one thing that struck me about the usefulness of the testimony is the simple fact that this defendant waits 4 days to be treated in a hospital in a different state, sort of leading to the impression he's trying to get as far away from Atlanta on the night of the incident as possible.
Yeah, but of course they know that What did they accomplish with this witness?
I think what they accomplished was that they helped out the defense in a couple of significant ways. They put this person on the stand presumably to place Oakley at the fight, which eventually led to the murders, but through some of their own questioning, even before the defense attorneys had their chance, he elicited the fact that Oakley had said he couldn't remember who had struck him and that he did not know, in fact, who had hit him. That plays perfectly into the whole defense argument that Oakley was, in fact, a victim or not the aggressor of the initial fight. So I'm really struck by why they would engage in that tactic.
Maybe they were trying to point out that he was lying.
They could, but if that was their intent, it's the result that matters at this point, and I really think they scored points for the defense rather than themselves.
Howard, on what you know of the case, Mike, as a prosecutor, would you say that the case against him is the strongest?
I think you have to make that assumption based upon the fact that Oakley is the person everyone is talking about to this point. The evidence against Lewis seems to be very peripheral. You have, at most, testimony in the form of him throwing 1 punch, and that being from a witness with a lengthy criminal record who I think was pretty thoroughly discredited in the courtroom.
Yeah. I'm sorry, Michael Sepe, it seems to me I'm stuck on the same question after every witness. I turn to you as a prosecutor and I say, what in the world did they get out of that?
Beats me. The only possible thing that you could use on that as the DA is having Ray Lewis with one of his friends in the same photograph may highlight the fact that he originally denied knowing who the other people were at this incident. Other than that, Fred, I can't see what possible use you can get out of that.
Guess what did you think of it? Howard, take a break here. I want to thank both of our guests. I want to thank Michael Sepe, who is our prosecutor. Your co-prosecutors have had a kind of a rough afternoon here today, but we appreciate your comments.